Alright guys, welcome to another Hurrah at the Tech and Math video. This is going to be a quick rundown of how to do some of the questions on this revision sheet. I would recommend you do it before you watch this, but if you have not done that, watching it would be a good start. Alright, I've picked out certain questions. I'm not going to do all of them because there's about 100 something questions. Don't count that. Alright, first one. You've got an angle of 60 degrees. You need to know what x is. We know on a straight line that the angle is 180 degrees, so 60 plus x equals 180. Therefore, x is going to be 180, positive 60. I'm going to move over there. Becomes negative 60. Therefore, x equals 120 degrees. B, same thing, but we've got a complementary angle. We know a complementary angle must equal 90 degrees, so 50 plus y equals 90 degrees. That means y is going to be 90. That 50 is going to move over, become a negative, which means y equals 40 degrees. Alright, next one, we've got a right angle triangle. We've got to find the side length L. So we need to know what trigonometry ratio to use. We know that the sine opposite our right angle is always our hypotenuse. Side opposite our unknown side is always our opposite our angle, sorry. That means this is the adjacent. We've got opposite and hypotenuse, so our ratio is going to be sine theta. Opposite over hypotenuse. We know sine of the angle 13 equals L over 119.83. This is a divide by 119. So divide by 119.83. So my next step is I'm going to take that, move it over there. So this is going to be 119.83 times sine 13, and that's going to equal L. Therefore, L is going to equal, it's going to equal 26.95 millimeters. Alright, for our next triangle, we know that opposite the right angle is going to be a hypotenuse. Opposite the angle is going to be opposite, which means this is our adjacent. We've got adjacent and hypotenuse, which means this is going to be cos theta, adjacent over hypotenuse. Cos of the angle is 39, adjacent is 46.7, and we're going to divide that by A. When our unknown or variable is on the bottom of our fraction, we're just going to switch the position of those two around. So A moves to the left, and we've got 46.7 divided by cos 39. Again, put that into your calculator, hit equals to get the answer, which means A equals 60.09 centimeters. Alright, last trigonometry question I'm going to go through. Alright, from the angle, side opposite it, opposite side, opposite our right angle, that's our hypotenuse, that means this is our adjacent. We've got opposite and adjacent, that means we're using tan ratio. That means tan of the angle, 8 degrees, is D over 39.75, which means to get D by itself, we're going to move that over there. We're going to have 39.75 divided by, so it's going over, it's going to become a multiply. Tan 8 equals D. That means D is going to be 5.58 meters. Alright, before I go to the next question, question 2 and 3 of your exam will use concept from the last bit of the video, so make sure you know all your trig ratios. And maybe I did an example of each trig ratio to help you guys out. I'm not saying that I did, but you know, take that as a hint. Know your ratios. Alright, question 4. You've got a nice right angle triangle with an extendy bit. This is the extendy bit, 60 plus 30. And you've got 40 is that angle there. You have to work out what the value of t is. First thing you need to know is that these two angles added together, so 40 plus this is 90 degrees equals that exterior angle, so 60 plus 30. Then using some algebra, we're going to put all our t's to one side and our numbers on the other. I like positive numbers, so I'm going to move 40 that way. So we're going to have 90 over here, and 60 plus 30 is already there. When 40 goes over, positive coming over becomes a negative. Now I've got both t's on each side. I'm going to take positive 30 that way. So here we're going to have 90, positive goes over becomes negative, equals 60 take 40. Now we simplify where we can. 90 take 30 is 60. 6 take 4 is 2. So we've got 2t. And then 60t equals 60 divided by 2, because we're taking multiply 2 that way. Opposite of multiply, it's divide. That means t equals 30. And you've worked out t. Alright, question 5. It's a bit more complex than the question you're going to get on your exam. So all you need to know is that this distance x that's on your worksheet is 34 meters approximately. And then we've got our angles, which I haven't put in, 47 degrees 12 minutes and 35 degrees 50 minutes. And you're asked to find the height of the building, which is h plus this 180 centimeters that goes to the ground. So you need to find all of those. So we're going to take the big triangle and work out our ratio from there. Alright, so let's look at our big triangle here. So with our big triangle, I'm going to take my sides with respect to this angle. So that is going to be the opposite side. We know our right angles here, so this is our hypotenuse. That means this is our adjacent. If we've got opposite and adjacent, that's going to be our tan ratio. So tan theta is opposite over adjacent. Tan of this angle here, 35 degrees 12 minutes, is going to be our opposite h divided by our adjacent side, which is this whole distance, 34 plus 38, which is 72. Yes. Next, we're going to move 72 that way to get h by itself. It's divided by 72, so when it goes over to the other side, we've got multiplied by 72, and we're going to multiply it by the angle tan 35 12 degrees. Sorry, 35 degrees 12 minutes. When you do that on your calculator, you get the following answer. Alright, so h equals 50.79 degrees. And this is all you'll have to do for your question. So, you know how to do that and you guys should be right. Alright, question 6. You have this shape. You have to work out what x is. First thing you need to know is your basic geometry rules, which is Z rule. So if we draw a Z on this in blue, the Z rule tells us that this angle and this angle in here are going to be the same. So they're both 35 degrees. We know that a rectangle has a right angle. So now we've got a right angle triangle, which is here. So for this right angle triangle, my opposite side is 120. This is my hypotenuse, which I don't care about at the moment. X is on my adjacent. We've got opposite and adjacent. That is tan theta, which means tan at the angle 35 equals 120 over x. Like last time, when x is on the bottom, we're going to switch the position of those two. So x moves to the left and it's going to be 120 divided by tan 35. And then when we do that on our calculator, we're going to get 171.37. So x equals 171.37 centimeters. Alright, question 7, the part we all struggle with, reading the question and working out what the diagram is. So, we've got, says that James and Kobe are having a free throw competition, so basketball. That says the hoop, but it's meant to say the hoop is 3.15 meters from the ground. So let's draw a line. That's 3.15 meters. You can't see that. Let me move that up from the ground. James and Kobe are 1.5 meters and 1.98 meters tall respectively. So I'm not going to draw them, and just keep that in mind. Both players are 4.57 meters away from underneath the hoop. So some distance from here, that's going to be 4.57 meters. Calculate the angle of elevation from both James and Kobe. So angle of elevation is always from the horizontal going up. So we need to work out what that angle of elevation is. So theta. Here Kobe and James's heights won't matter because I'm just working out the angle. So we know that this is going to be our opposite side. We've got our right angle there. So opposite the right angle is our hypotenuse. That means this is our adjacent side. Both players are taking their shot from here. So they're both same distance away. So we know we've got tan ratio opposite over adjacent, which means tan of the angle is going to be 3.15 divided by 4.57. Let's do that on the calculator first. So 3.15 divided by 4.57. That gives us 0.689, and then to get theta by itself, we're going to take tan over. Inverse of tan is arctan or tan inverse, 0.689. So on your calculator, tan inverse of the answer, we're going to get 34.57 degrees.